I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's move to the call to the public. We'll hold on for a few minutes here. If anyone from the public wish to address the board? I will remind people while we're waiting for this, so please mute when you're not speaking. The email address to get through to us is info@genoa.org. The phone line is 810-227-5225. Give it another minute here and then we'll proceed, and the manager will let us know if something does come through. Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda.
Martinson, move approval.
Low support.
I got one mistake I'd like to correct on the minutes.
All righty.
Down in member discussion, when Mike was talking, it says bike path, should be sidewalk.
Where's that at?
Member discussion, way down at the end.
Okay.
Under member discussion.
What was your correction, Terry?
It says bike path, should be sidewalk.
Yeah. It's the first sentence
Okay.
under.
Mike's
Yeah.
comment.
Yep. We've always referred to them as bike paths.
Yeah, we use the term interchangeably, do we not?
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll change it.
Okay.
There's a reason related to the grant that it should be referred to as sidewalk, but it's
In this
Yeah,
particular case.
Just a technical thing.
a detail,
Okay.
but it's sort of important. So
Very good. And,
The maker of the motion accepts the change.
okay,
Support does too.
so we still have motion support with the change in regard to the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Is there any opposition to this? The motion passes by unanimous support. Let's move on to the regular agenda, which is items 3 through 5, plus correspondence and member discussion.
Low moves approval.
Hunt
Ledford.
support.
Oh, and Ledford,
That's fine.
okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? Motion passes by unanimous support. Let's move to item number 3. This is the first review of the 2021-2022 fiscal year budget for the general fund number 101. Who would like to present?
Oh, I thought we were going to do a call to the public.
We are.
Oh, after?
We are after, yep.
Okay. The budget that you have before you, the administrative committee has been working on this budget for the last 4 weeks. We've included, including Kelly Van Marter, who submitted her requests concerning service application fees. This is the first draft of this budget for 101, and this is where the money is spent in the general fund. The most important page that, the important page that you need to look at has to do with transfers to other funds. And we discussed this at length. And one of the transfers is to Road Improvement Fund, where we're looking at a $900,000 transfer from the general fund to that fund. And then we're looking at Parks and Recreations with a $750,000 transfer. Other items on this budget are pretty much the same as previous years. What I would like the trustees on the board to consider is primarily refuse collection and disposal and the cost to those projects and possible increases for the next fiscal year. If you have any questions, Robin and I will be happy to answer them. But we are having meetings
Board
with
members.
2 trustees at a time to go over the budget and fine tune this project. And I believe we're scheduling meetings for later this week.
Yeah, if I can step in, Mr. Supervisor. So this is the first time we haven't given you all the budgets at once. We'd like to sit down with you because of the format with the virtual meetings. It makes it very difficult. And we're looking to do some very big things. Polly mentioned the significant transfer to roads with a 5-year plan that we are required to do under the capital improvements plan. We're going to meet this week to talk about where those transfers are going. Basically, the larger numbers are related to large capital road improvements and the grant application for the acquisition of recreational property that we've talked about. So next meeting in February, you will be seeing a more formal proposal, but we wanted to get through it first in small committees, just like we do the audit.
Yes, and especially dealing with the budget, I think it's more critical that we have a little bit of one-on-one with that before we come up with our final tally. So I agree with staff in that regard. I think it's really important that we do that.
You mentioned grants. Is that on Parks and Recreation we're looking at?
Yeah, so we have a special meeting on the 13th so we can meet our timeline for a February grant application for a DNR trust fund grant. That's why we have the special meeting. We have to meet a critical path. Yes, that's for the acquisition of property close to the township hall.
Well, my question is, when I just look at the number, I understand it's premature, but is that the gross cost or is that net of a potential grant? That's my question.
The $750,000 is a portion of that is going to be our match for that grant, but a significant portion of that money will be for repair on existing bike paths, specifically along Brighton and Bauer roads and here at the Township Hall. Some of those paths are over 20 years old. They were originally done in asphalt. We've got some unsafe conditions there, especially on some of the boardwalks across from Brighton High School and down Bauer Road on the east side of Bauer Road, south of Brighton Road, that we really need to take a look at. So the 750, Jim, without having the budget directly in front of me, I want to say our match is somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 to 400 out of that 750, and the rest would be applied to correcting and fixing some of our existing sidewalks / bike paths.
Well, all I'm saying is, my question is simply, where is the potential match? Is it on this piece of paper or is it not anywhere?
No, that would be on a separate budget, Jim, under Parks and Recreations, Fund number 270. And we'll sit and discuss that. I know you can't make Thursday's meeting, but we'll figure out a date.
Okay,
Any other
Thank
comments, questions?
I would just like to make a comment. Many of you saw the emails, the 30, 35 or 40 or so emails that were going out late last week and even today regarding the recycling. And I made mention in a number of those emails to our residents that we are beginning the budget cycle. If there's going to be any changes to our refuse collection contract, now is an appropriate time to do so. So one of the other things I'd like to talk about in small groups is the potential for making modifications to our refuse and recycling contract. A number of the emails are asking for increased recycling effort going to every week. We are waiting for numbers. I requested about 2 weeks ago from Advanced that we get numbers for what that would cost us if we go to every week with the 64-gallon curb carts. I'm still waiting. Part of that is that they have been, acquired by Waste Management. So there's a little bit of a delay. They're not as nimble as they once were. In that regard, I'd also like to make mention that the acquisition by Waste Management of the Advanced contract does not necessarily open it up for renegotiation. It's binding upon errors in the signs. I'd have to defer to Township Council, but our initial reading of it is that we don't have a wide open thing. We'd have to modify the existing contract, which we are a party to until November 30th of 2023. So we're about halfway through. So if we want to modify it, it would cost more. But I wanted to make mention of that, given the fact that I did make reference to tonight's meeting to a number of our customers.
well, that brings another comment. Is there anybody realistically as an alternative to our existing supplier? I understand we're kind of locked into the guy or girl till 2023, but could we, if we've become unhappy with the present supplier, or he refuses to negotiate or something we don't like, could we start looking around for somebody else and maybe start having conversations, even though it wouldn't get exercised for 2 years?
I think Mike can speak to it more fluently, but we're starting to get a diminished amount of organizations that are in this kind of business that can handle our type of business that are reasonably close. And I'll let Mike fill in with the rest, but that's not out of the question. But our opportunities are limited at best.
So yeah, 2 points there. So when we bid last time, the two best respondents were Advanced Disposal and Granger. Granger's based out of Lansing. Excellent company, great references from their communities that they currently serve. We're really on the eastern boundary of their effective radius, so their numbers were high. And I think that's just simply a function of the fact that we're pretty far from their yards and where they dump. So they were good service, but it was expensive. There is an out clause in the existing contract. So if we become unhappy, and I'm not saying we're unhappy yet, we've noticed a few issues since the acquisition that are a little unsettling. Not the least of which was the card that was sent to all our residents without consulting with us first. There's also been some changes to their customer service. The dedicated phone line that was one time located in Northfield Township is now in Wisconsin, which is similar to what we experienced, 7, 8 years ago when we made the change to Duncan. So, optimism is a good thing, and hopefully we are not going to experience the kind of issues we experienced then. But if we do, there is an option, Jim.
The other thing,
Part and parcel to our continued conversation about that with all of you.
Are we ready to discuss anything else on this budget? I was just gonna raise the issue of salaries. And I don't know what we are thinking about. I don't have a clear thought in my mind. I would think offhand, something like 2 or 3% would be appropriate. That's maybe above the inflation rate, but
At this juncture, we were not prepared to speak of that at this time.
I understand, but we should start thinking about it. And
Everybody has, and that's why we need to sit down to go over everybody's thoughts as we progress through this process.
okay,
If there's no other comment from the board, then I would like to open this up, a call to the public regarding this review of General Fund 101. And we'll go for a couple of minutes here in the event somebody is trying to dial in, type. If it's typing an email, I can completely comprehend it takes more than a minute or two.
Yes, I'd like to make one more comment.
Okay,
I will have hard copies available at the Township Hall starting probably next week for anybody who wants a hard copy, and we'll be putting it on the internet after we have the discussions with the trustees this week or early next week. And that is required under law. We will bring this back to the board, the first meeting in February. And then if no one has any objections at that meeting, then we will approve this, the second meeting of March, which will then cover the next fiscal year.
do we have anyone calling or emailing?
We do not, sir.
Give it a couple more seconds here, and then we will move on as there's not a vote or anything required. All righty, let's move on to item number 4. This is a request for approval of a defined contribution addendum as mandated by the Municipal Employees Retirement System, otherwise known as MERS. Looking for motion and support.
This is strictly a bookkeeping matter that's MERS is requiring with no changes or anything. So I would move approval of the defined contribution addendum as mandated by MERS.
I'll support.
Support.
I think Terry beat out Diana by a half a second. So.
For all division,
Terry.
I would
So we have a
say.
motion support. Any discussion regarding this? As Robin mentioned, and as stated here, it is, I call it the paper chase. It's mandated by MERS. So really, it doesn't affect, the dollars and cents per se, but it is required.
we had the same thing at the fire authority.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I knew you'd
It's
know
normal.
that, Jim. So anyways, we have motion support. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Uh,
Any
Aye.
to the negative? Then this passes by unanimous support. Let's go on to item number 5. This is to consider approval of a contract extension between Economic Development Council of Livingston County and Genoa Charter Township.
I would move approval.
Low support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes by unanimous support. Let us move on to correspondence.
Yes, you have 3 pieces of correspondence. The first is from Charter Communications concerning upcoming changes. The second piece of correspondence is from Cromaine Library. It's the approved minutes from November 19th of 2020. And the last piece of correspondence is received from a 12-year-old girl, Abigail Kaiser. And she's asking that the road be done in front of her house so that she can use skateboards and longboards. Anyway, Mike responded, and that was a very nice response to her. And thank you, Abigail, for sending us that letter.
That was a very good response, Mike. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Righty. On to member discussion. Any comments, questions?
The sled hill's wide open. We got to get the lights turned on, but it looks really fast with the ice and the weather we've had last couple days. The kids are making it almost all the way to Door Road, which is pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
Really is. Oh, if I can quickly, because I've got some documents I have to sign regarding this MERS thing. Who again made the motion?
I did. Robin.
And I think Terry got the support on that one?
May look.
Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Thank you. By the way, speaking of the sledding hill, it was pretty funny watching them. It had just kind of sprinkled a little snow and you could see mostly grass, and they were flying down the hill. Flying. They were having a blast even in that. So that was pretty cool to watch. We were by.
Sometimes there's just a little dusting of snow and the kids will just sled down it and scratch all the snow off. So it's like green again. It's fun for them.
It really was. It was more fun to watch just seeing them go down there making those troughs.
I want to go.
Mhm.
We've got a sled here at the Township Hall. I still hold the office record, so.
Yes, the new rec department is Mike's office. We've got a sled, got a basketball, got a soccer ball. Am I missing something, Mike?
That's it for now.
Oh, okay. So,
Did you go down the hill, Mike?
Yeah, about 6-7 years ago when it was brand new.
Oh, okay.
When he was young.
ooh, yeah.
Younger.
Younger.
Anything else under member discussion? Any feedback as of yet, Mr. Manager?
No, sir, we have not.
Then I shall call for adjournment.
Move adjournment, Robin Hunt.
Martinson.
We have motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Same to you.